You're looking at 6 million tons of stone, 2.3 million individual blocks. Some of them are heavier than a school bus, stacked with a precision that would embarrass modern engineers. No cranes, no steel, no computers. No blueprint has ever been found. Not a single hieroglyph inside the entire structure. Just this standing in the desert for 4,600 years. So here's the question that has haunted historians, engineers, and conspiracy theorists for centuries. How did a Bronze Age civilization with copper tools and rope build something many engineers argue would be insanely difficult to replicate today? Was it human brilliance pushed to its absolute limit? Or is the answer something we're not ready to accept? Because the deeper you look at this pyramid, the weirder it gets. And today, we're going all the way in. What we think we know. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built around 2560 BC, commissioned by Pharaoh Khufu, who, by the way, had roughly 20 to 30 years to get this done before he died. No pressure. It stood 481 feet tall and was the tallest structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. The base of this pyramid is a near-perfect square. Its four sides are aligned to true north, south, east, and west within a fraction of a single degree. No GPS, no satellites, no lasers, just Bronze Age Egyptians with copper tools, rope, and somehow an extraordinary grasp of geometry. The builders created the most precise large-scale structure in human history, and then apparently forgot to write any of it down. That silence, that void of documentation, is exactly what cracked the door open for every wild theory that came after. And trust me, they got wild. The theories that took over. Let me show you why people went off the deep end. Because of the conspiracy theorists, they didn't make this stuff up. They pointed at real things. The three pyramids of Giza matched the layout of Orion's belt, the constellation ancient Egyptians associated with Osiris, god of the afterlife. Every internal shaft in the Great Pyramid points to a specific star. Some researchers argue the pyramid may not have been built as a tomb at all. No mummy was ever found. No burial text, no clear funerary decoration. If not a tomb, then what was it? Hold that thought, because that's only the beginning. Then there's the math. Take the pyramid's perimeter, divide it by twice its height, you get pi, 3.14159, the same ratio that shows up in seashells, sunflowers, and the spiral arms of galaxies. Was this intentional, or the most remarkable coincidence in human history? And this is exactly where the theories exploded. In 1968, a book called Chariots of the Gods became a global phenomenon. Its argument: extraterrestrials guided ancient civilizations. The pyramids, either built by aliens or built for them, it sold millions of copies, launched a genre, permanently infected popular culture. Before that, a 20th century psychic named Edgar Cayce claimed, while in a trance, naturally, that refugees from Atlantis built the Great Pyramid around 10,500 BC using levitation powers. He also prophesied a hidden hall of records buried under the Sphinx, containing Atlantean secrets. Now look, it's easy to laugh, but here's the uncomfortable truth that kept these theories alive for decades. For most of the 20th century, mainstream archaeologists couldn't fully explain how the pyramid was built either. They had theories, educated guesses, no proof, and when science leaves a vacuum, the internet fills it. What archaeology actually found. Here's where the real story gets genuinely incredible. Because while the conspiracy theorists were busy with aliens, archaeologists were quietly making discoveries that changed everything. In the 1990s, archaeologist Mark Lehner, who had actually started out as a believer in Cayce's Atlantis theory, did something unexpected. He followed the evidence instead, and the evidence led him to a lost city right next to the pyramids. Barracks, bakeries, breweries, a full medical facility, and graves proper, honorable burials for the workers who died on the job. Not slaves, not aliens. Skilled Egyptian laborers, organized into competing crews, were well-fed and proud enough of their work to tag the stones with graffiti. One crew called themselves Friends of Khufu. These people had nicknames. But the single most important discovery came in 2013. A French archaeologist named Pierre Tallet was excavating a cave system near the Red Sea. and he found something that no one expected to exist: a diary, a 4,600-year-old papyrus logbook written by a man named Merer. And in this diary, the oldest papyrus ever found, Merer wrote about his job. His crew quarried limestone at Tura, loaded it onto boats, sailed it down a Nile canal directly to Giza, and delivered it to the construction site of the Great Pyramid, an eyewitness account of the pyramid being built. Not extraterrestrials, not Atlanteans. A guy named Merer and his crew, doing their job, writing it down. And it didn't stop there. In 2018, researchers found remnants of an ancient ramp system at a quarry site with post holes suggesting a rope and pulley hauling method for dragging enormous blocks up steep inclines. And in the 2020s, scientists using satellite radar discovered something that rewrote the geography of ancient Giza, a lost Nile channel, a branch of the river that once ran directly up to the pyramid site. 4,600 years ago, Giza wasn't a barren desert. It had a working harbor. Barges could sail directly to the construction site and unload stone at the foot of the pyramid. The impossible logistics? Suddenly, far more plausible. How it actually happened. 20,000 workers, not slaves, but organized state employees, descended on Giza from across Egypt. They were divided into competing crews with names and identities. They were housed, fed, and given medical care. They were building something they believed would carry their pharaoh into the stars, and they had roughly 20 years to do it. At the harbor, barges arrived daily from quarries upstream. Limestone from Tura. Granite was hauled 500 miles from Aswan, unloaded by the ton and dragged on wooden sleds across sand lubricated with water, which, it turns out, dramatically reduces friction. One block is placed every 2 minutes on average for 2 straight decades. What's still unexplained? Before you think this is all wrapped up, it isn't. In 2017, scientists used cosmic ray detectors to scan the pyramid's interior, and they found something nobody expected: a massive hidden void above the Grand Gallery, roughly the size of a passenger jet, completely sealed, no entrance, no exit. We also still debate exactly which ramp system was used, how the heaviest granite blocks, the ones lining the king's chamber, were raised to that height, and why, for a structure supposedly built as a tomb, no pharaoh's body was ever found inside. The real wonder. The Great Pyramid of Giza is not proof of alien intelligence. It is proof of human intelligence, of what happens when 20,000 people share one impossible goal and refuse to stop. And they did it with such precision that 4,600 years later, we're still standing here trying to figure out how. We do not fully understand the Great Pyramid. We may never fully understand it. And somehow that's the best part. The real mystery of the Great Pyramid isn't who built it. It's that they built it at all. Drop your theory in the comments. And if this made you see the pyramids differently, you know what to do.